Hello everyone, Adam here from NoobFeed.com, and today I'll be talking about RAD from Double Fine Productions and publisher Bandai Namco. If you want a full written review, you can follow in the link below. RAD has you attempting to save humanity from a second apocalypse. This time the machines that humanity depends on for food, air, and other essentials are dying, and you must venture into the ever-changing world known as the Fallow in search of a new energy source. The story is grim in context, having the camp send teenagers to their death since they can handle the mutations that are required to survive in the landscape, but it's also coated in that Double Fine humor. Despite being set in a bleak and dying world, the writing makes light of the entire situation. Things such as dying and mutated teenagers are given a ray of light. Those familiar with Double Fine's projects such as Psychonauts, Broken Age, and Brutal Legend will recognize the writing, but how's the gameplay? Well, it's pretty good. RAD is an action-adventure roguelike game with some twin shooter elements. Your primary attack is a bat that you can only hit at close range, and you gain random mutated powers as you progress. If you die, you lose everything and you start from the beginning. There is a small safety net where you get to keep the money that you've deposited in the bank, but mostly you're starting from the beginning with everything that you don't have. With the environment shifting and the boss battles changing, each run is new and different, but it still carries that degree of you slowly building up your character to take on bigger and badder enemies. The issue with this random assortment of power-ups is that sometimes you can be given a bad combination. Some abilities work well with one another and others do not. Having a bad combination will warrant a suicide in some cases. The environments and enemies are well designed and they look great. They're not unique or special, but it's clear that the designers took a lot of time creating each area and enemy. And the soundtrack brings everything together, given that 90s atmosphere that RAD is trying desperately to have with all this purple hue and cool radical colors. Where RAD may turn some players off is in its difficulty. This is not an easy game, and mostly due to the lack of resources. Health pickups are rare, key and chest are to be used sparingly, and resources are expensive. This makes dodging and avoiding damage a must, but the game tries to convince you to go for kill streaks in hope of gaining added bonuses. Also, combat is just plain fun. Whacking enemies with your bat or combining your mutated powers for explosive results is literally a blast. Personally, I'm not a fan of roguelike games, but RAD was truly entertaining. The atmosphere, writing, soundtrack, and combat kept me playing even after a dozen deaths. Double Fine did a great job of creating a fun game where you could just sit down and play. However, like I said earlier, this is not an easy game. If dying constantly is something you hate, RAD won't really appeal to you. Another thing that I found a little strange is that there's no cooperative or multiplayer. It seems like a game like this would benefit from an additional player, either locally or online, especially considering how large the environments are. Since you're constantly hunting for these objectives in order to open paths, you can easily get lost in the environment, and having an extra player would have benefited. Hopefully they add this in a patch, but you know, this is just a personal thing. So those are my personal takes on RAD. It's a very entertaining game, and for someone who hates roguelike games and found this very joyful, I can say Double Fine did a fantastic job. If you do want a more in-depth review, I will have a link in the description below, as well as a tip guide of how to survive the Fallow. So thanks for watching everyone, and have a good one.